Hey guys, it's me. It's Gabe, and today we're going to be talking about the new game that Riot Games has dropped, Valorant. Now, if you've been living under a rock for the past couple of weeks, or you haven't been on Twitch or on YouTube or anything, you've probably never heard of Valorant, so I'm going to give you a quick recap. Riot Games dropped Valorant a couple of weeks back, and it's taken over the world since. It's one of the most popular games on Twitch. It's being played by the biggest streamers like Tim the Tatman and Shroud, and everybody's watching it. Now, whether you believe everybody's watching it because they want a beta key or because they actually enjoy watching the game, that's up to you. Apparently, money doesn't work anymore, and you have to get a beta key by watching a bunch of streamers play for like 2 to 52 hours. It's completely random when you get your beta key, so if you do want to get a beta key, you can sometimes see me streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/washboy. But if that's not your shtick and you would rather listen to me complain about video games, today we're going to be talking about Valorant and some of the balancing decisions made about that. I'm going to be honest, like fully honest, I didn't really think much of Valorant when it came out. I really thought that Valorant was just a blip on the metaphorical screen of gaming and that COD Warzone was going to be the real big game that would take over everyone's quarantine because, oh yeah, everybody's sitting inside forever now because of the virus that's taking over the world. I thought that COD Warzone was the next Fortnite, not Valorant. If Valorant can capture the casual audience, it's going to be huge, bigger than Counter-Strike. And speaking of Counter-Strike, everybody has been comparing Valorant to a mix of CS:GO and Overwatch. And while I can see those comparisons, I kind of disagree. I think it's a lot of a mix between Counter-Strike and Paladins. The reason I say that is because there's the technical skill and the awareness that you need in Counter-Strike mixed with some of the abilities that you see in an Overwatch or Paladin style game. The reason I say Paladins is because the art style reminds me a lot more of Paladins than it does of Overwatch. People like to see cartoon characters and they just say, that's Overwatch. But I disagree. I think that this is a lot more like Paladins. But that's not even the main point of this video. We gotta talk about one of the agents in this game. Now, if you don't know what an agent is, it's one of the heroes that you can play as, and it essentially allows you to pick a mumbo-jumbo hodgepodge of abilities that are thrown on every different hero, and you can kind of create your own gameplay and meta around them. We're going to be talking today about Raze. Raze is downright amazing right now, and in my opinion, she's probably the best offensive and defensive character in the game. She's what I'd consider to be a generalist. There isn't much that she does wrong. She does everything pretty much well. There isn't really a flaw in her gameplay or her design right now, and that's an issue to me. Raze, like every other character in the game, has a multitude of different, quote, powers that make her stand out significantly compared to others. Her abilities are pretty much all offensive, but if you do them right on defense, you can completely ruin the day of the offensive team. It's a big issue for balancing right now, and I think if we don't talk about it and make it better, there's going to be a lot of people who stop playing just because of Raze's bullshit. The first thing we need to talk about is her grenades, or as the game calls them, paint shells. Her grenades, when thrown, make an annoying ear-piercing noise. After they're done ruining your ears and your headphones, they ruin your game too, because once they blow up once and deal about 50 to 100 damage to you, a whole bunch of them shoot out of the residue of her explosives and finish you off. I can't tell you how many times I've been in close quarters and had my day absolutely ruined by these fucking things. And it's not just me. Everybody in my queue complains about them too. The inherent problem with her grenades is that they take zero skill. The only skill required, aim, click, boom. Instant crowd control, instant kills. So you may be asking yourself, well, you're a Sage main. Why don't you just wall her off? Easy peasy. And that would be great if she couldn't just toss her nades right over my wall and shit in my cereal. That being said, they aren't totally broken. She only gets 2 per round, right? Nope. According to her page on the Valorant wiki, they reset after the player gets 2 kills, which isn't really that much. If you're a good player and you main Raze, you can probably bag 1 to 2 kills per round roaming. Also, these grenades cost only 200 credits, meaning at the beginning of the round, you can buy them in bulk. They're there the entire game. But Gabe, every agent has at least one great ability. You're right. Every agent has 1 or 2 really good abilities. Sage can heal and build walls. Viper can build huge toxin walls and essentially smoke off choke points. One of the great things about Valorant is that every hero or agent has abilities that make them incredibly fun to play. There isn't one bad agent in the game right now, in my opinion. But Raze has a bunch of stupid good fucking offense in her character design. It doesn't really make sense to me. If they want to make a generalist agent, that's fine, but there needs to be a flaw in their design, and right now there isn't really one in Raze. The next ability I want to go over is her satchel, or blast pack. It's essentially a timed sticky bomb that you can throw and detonate whenever you'd like, and it's used for crowd control, similar to Junkrat's mine in Overwatch. She can also use it to quote-unquote sticky jump, just like Junkrat's mine in Overwatch, or like a sticky bomb in the game Team Fortress 2 if you've seen that. This ability isn't ridiculously good, but it's still amazing for mobility. On maps that are currently released, taking high ground helps a ton. When you have this ability for cheap in your back pocket, it's easy to just use 1 or 2 jumps to get over a sage wall or to get through an enemy choke point without even being seen. You can also use it to jump onto boxes at some of the choke points on the maps when you're defending, and it really gives you an incredible angle on your enemies. It just feels like too good of an ability stacked on top of her grenades, and I think if we're going to have amazing grenades, it should be one or the other. You shouldn't be able to have grenades and sticky bombs that you can use for crowd control and mobility. You can't use the grenades for mobility, but you can use the sticky jump for mobility, and you can use both of them for crowd control, especially on defense. Her last ability, in my opinion, is actually pretty bad. She throws a 200 credit, quote, boombot, which is essentially a Roomba that rolls around and tries to blow you up like a terrorist in a candy store.
Oh, now that's edgy.
But that's pretty much all it does, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, because the next thing we need to talk about is her ultimate ability. Every character in the game has an ultimate ability that can shift the tide of team fights. For example, Sage's ultimate ability is the ability to resurrect one player on the team, and these ultimates, while pretty difficult to obtain, are also really, really good. Every character has a really, really good ultimate. Right now they seem fairly balanced, but Sage's is just another crowd control weapon. It's essentially a rocket launcher that only has one rocket, but if it directly hits you, it's essentially a one-shot, and you can use it to just fire down a tight corridor and ruin the day of anybody trying to push your site. Okay, you get it. I'm a little bitch who can't counter Raze and wants to complain about it. And while yes, that's true, it feels a little unfair to get fucked every time I'm sitting in a tight corridor. I just get smacked by her nades, or by her ultimate, or by her satchel, or she's sitting on top of a box that I can't really see from a great angle, or I'm just not used to checking above me. And while yes, counters for her will come out in time, I think it's just silly that they have one generalist class while every other one is just pretty okay at everything, or really good at one thing. The only real counter for Raze right now, at least in the games that I've been playing, is to just let her spam out her grenades and try not to get hit by them. If you can do that and do it effectively, she's pretty much just a regular character again, but her satchel is still really good for jumping and mobility and also crowd control, and you always have to keep an eye on her ultimate. Every time I'm in a tight corridor, I just get smacked by her nades, like I said before, and if that doesn't kill me, she'll satchel on top of me and ruin my day. If somehow I avoid her all round, she'll pop her ulti and F my A when I'm trying to defuse or plant the bomb. If you agree or disagree with my sentiment about Raze, I strongly suggest you to comment in the comment box below. I'd really like to hear what you guys have to think about her, because I think it's fucking bullshit right now. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed my commentary and complaining, and if you did, feel free to drop a like and sub. If you didn't enjoy it, and you don't want to drop a like and sub, that's fine. I'll be sure to link you guys to my PR team in the description below. You can file complaints whenever I'm live on twitch.tv/washboy. Have a good one, you guys, and stay safe. Thanks.